Synonyms and antonyms. So, this is another review for synonyms and antonyms using our context clues and stories to determine the definition of words. So, again, I would like you to just be in the moment with me as I am discussing this and showing you how we use our context clues to define words. And then it will be your turn. I just want to take a moment to remind you that synonyms are words that have similar meaning. So it's two words that mean the same thing. And antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. They are two words that mean completely opposite things. One of the things that we look at is when we're reading stories, they oftentimes use words that we're not sure about the meaning of them. So we use our context clues or the other words around it to determine what the meaning is. And I think oftentimes we do this without knowing we're doing it. We're just kind of reading the story. We skim over a word. We're not sure what it means, but we still know what the story means. And what that is that's actually your natural way of using your context clues to define words. So many times you will see different ways if you are actually going to point it out of seeing synonyms. So the types of context clues that we see is they actually give the definition. For example, the inquisitive child asked countless questions. Well, inquisitive means countless questions. They restate a synonym. For example, the fragile vase was easily broken. So they kind of restated what fragile meant, but they gave us the definition, which is easily broken. And then examples are given, like the omnivorous bear eats both meat and plants, such as fish, berries, and honey. So we know that an omnivorous bear eats fish, berries, and honey. Well, that's both meat and vegetables. That example kind of gave us the definition and examples. And antonyms, being the opposite, kind of has the same thing. So the types of context clues that they use is direct contrast, meaning they'll use the word and then use a word that means completely opposite. So an example is the generous donor was the opposite of a selfish person. So clearly a generous donor is not a selfish person. Or they compare the unfamiliar word to something that is the opposite of meaning. For example, talking about the vase, the fragile vase was unlike the sturdy table. Well, fragile vase, sturdy table, one's weak, one is strong. And then negation, a negative word like not, never, or no. So another example is the obedient child was never disrespectful. Well, an obedient child is not going to be disrespectful. So you know that obedient means that they behave and they are respectful. Those are just some examples that you will see, but I'm going to use Thunder Rose to show you what a couple of words, the antonyms and synonyms, and then you're going to try it on your own. I will be using the story Thunder Rose to find an antonym for the word daintily and a synonym and definition for the word commendable. If you would like to follow along, there is a link in your assignment in Canvas for the transcript if you would like to look at paragraph 10 and paragraph 13. Paragraph 10 says, her ma was right grateful to have such a resourceful child. No other newborn had the utter strength to lift a whole cow clear over her head and almost drink it dry. In a moment's time, Rose did, and quite daintily so. She was as pretty as a picture, had the sweetest disposition, but don't let yourself be misled. That child was full of lightning and thunder. So I think of the word daintily, and I'm kind of looking at all the words around it. It said, quite daintily so, she was as pretty as a picture. So if she was as pretty as a picture, then clearly daintily means pretty. Therefore, an antonym of pretty might be weird. I mean, I know that our first thought is ugly, but I definitely don't want to use that word. But I think weird would be a good one. So let's take a look. So weirdly is the opposite of daintily. So if daintily is pretty and weirdly is the opposite, then I can define weirdly as unusual and different. Now, in paragraph 13, we're going to look for a synonym for the word commendable. So I'm going to read 13. At the age of 5, Rose did a commendable job of staking the fence without a bit of help. During her 8th and 9th years, Rose assembled some iron beams together with the wood blocks she used to play with and constructed a building tall enough to scrape the sky, always humming as she worked. So, commendable. Well, if she did a commendable job staking out a fence without a bit of help, then maybe commendable means that she did a good job. That if it was commendable, then that would be something I would compliment somebody about. So, what are some words that we can use for that? So, commendable is also worthy of. And if somebody is worthy of it, then commendable, worthy, a bit of help, without a bit of help. She did all this hard work. Man, I have a lot of respect for her and her hard work. So I think a definition in my own words would be someone that deserves respect. And now it is your turn. Go pick up your copy of the synonym and antonym notes with the activity on the back. You will notice that your activity is referencing a different article in ReadWorks. There is a link to it in your Canvas. Work with your table group to find the words. It's just 2 words. So find them, read the paragraphs or the section that the words are in, and discuss what an antonym and definition is and a synonym and a definition. Once you and your table group has done an amazing job with your conversation, go ahead and glue the notes in your journal. And remember, a strip of glue will do, and a page a day is all it takes. Don't forget to record your synonyms and antonyms in your table of contents for the module PDSA.